Today we're going to expand on our exploration of rational expressions and introduce in the operations of multiplying and dividing. Starting off with multiplying. So on your notes, make sure to write this key instruction here, that when we're multiplying, we are basically multiplying straight across. Let's see how that shows up right away in example 1 here. If we have 5/4 times 3x over 5, we're going to basically multiply straight across, where if we can rewrite this fraction, we write 5 times 3x up top and 4 times 5 on the bottom. Okay, then as we go, we can start to, it helps if we start to simplify as we go. Notice how we have 5 and 5 on both top and bottom, so we can cross those out and rewrite our final answer as 3x over 4. Now we want to check here to see if we can simplify this further, but this is as far as we can take it down, so we can stop there for example 1. Okay, let's move on to example 2 and continue this practice. And go ahead and pause your screen, try this example for yourself, then unpause it and come back and check it against my work. We're going to again multiply straight across, so we'll rewrite our fraction 1 times 6 up top and 4x squared times 2x on the bottom. Okay, we'll do that math and we'll get 6 up top divided by 8x to the third. Okay, and then we want to just see, is this in simplest form? And some of you will know by just observation that it's not. We can reduce that 6 and 8 down further. So let's continue our kind of process from yesterday in writing in simplest form. I'm going to expand this out to 2 times 3 up top. I'll do 2 times 2 times 2 times x times x times x on the bottom. Make some cross cancellations. The 2's up top, nothing else to cross out. And so I'll just have 3 over 4x to the third. And again, we talked about this a lot yesterday. If you don't need to do this full expansion here, if you want to break it down to just 2 times 3 or 2 times 4, or you can just visually know what you cancel out or divide away, that is fine. Going to get some more practice here with example 3. Working in some different variables here. I'll pause my screen, I'll work through the problem, and you can check it against your work once you are done. So here's the solution and work for example 3, ending with a final answer of y divided by 6. Let's do one more problem with multiplication just so we can start to see what happens as we get more complicated. Notice how on my second fraction I have a plus sign, and we need to remember to use the distributive property when we do this here. So using parentheses to note that will be helpful. We're going to multiply straight across, so we'll get 4x times x plus 2, and I'm going to have 2 times 8 on the bottom. Then it might be helpful here to actually factor out, find some cancellations first if we can. So I'm going to rewrite this again as 2 times 2 times x plus 2 divided by 2 times 8. We'll notice that we can cancel out a set of 2 here. And actually, we can cancel out a set of, let me back up. Sorry about that. My apologies there. So going back, 4x times x plus 2 divided by 2 times 8. I'm going to expand this out so we can see if there's any cancellations early on. Let's go 2 times 2x, and we'll leave it as x plus 2 in our parentheses. And we'll have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 on the bottom there. So we go through, we see that we can cancel a pair of 2's up top. Can't cancel any x's, and we can't cancel this second 2 in our parentheses because it has the plus sign. It's within the parentheses. We need to distribute it through. So I'm going to go to another line here, rewrite what I'm left over with. Left with x on the outside times x plus 2 divided by 2 times 2 will give us 4 on the bottom. And then, if we want to, we could either stop there or simplify this further by distributing our top term in and multiplying to hit both those terms. We would get x squared plus 2x divided by 4. We're also going to deal with division today, and the key rules for this is going to be keep, change, flip. So you'll see what that means in our examples, but go ahead and write this down on your paper. And once we do that keep, change, flip process, it's going to be exactly the same as it was for multiplication. We'll just multiply straight across. So let's see how this works with example 1, just with normal fractions, just with normal numbers. So when we talk about keep, change, flip, here's what we're talking about. We are going to keep this first term. 1/2 is just going to stay the same. Then we're going to change this division sign into a multiplication sign. And finally, we're going to flip that last fraction. So instead of 3/4, it becomes 4/3. Once that's done, we can just multiply straight across like we did before. We'll have 1 times 4 up top, divided by 2 times 3 will give us 4/6. And we can break that down into simplest form further and know that that will equal 2/3 is our final answer. So let's apply this now to an example with rational expressions where we have variables involved. So we're going to keep, change, flip. So we'll keep that first term, 3x squared divided by 5. We're going to change that division sign to multiplication. And we are going to flip that last term, so it's 4 divided by 2x to the third. Okay, and then we're going to just go ahead and multiply across like we did in our first example. So we'll get 12x squared up top. We'll get 10x to the third on the bottom. Then we can go ahead and expand out to find our simplest form here. I can recognize that we can go 2 times 6 times x up top, 2 times 5 times x times x times x. Notice that I can start canceling some things out. There's a pair of 2's, there's a couple x's on both the top and bottom. And we'll get as a final answer there, 6 divided by 5x. All right, we got 2 more examples just to keep the practice pushing. This one is example 3. Again, pause your screen, try this on your own, and then check it against my work after you are done. Okay, if you look at our final answer, 1/12x, you can see that we got there by first keep, change, flipping, then multiplying straight across to get our 2x over 24x to the second power. Then we simplify out and cancel out our terms. And one thing I want to remind us is you'll notice that we canceled out all of our terms up top, both the 2 and the x. Remember, when we're simplifying and that happens, we are left with 1 in that spot. All right, final example today, example 4. Again, pause your screen, check it against my work when you are finished. All right, if you take a look again, excuse me. If you take a look again, we used keep, change, flip. Then we multiplied straight across to get us to this 8x to the third divided by 3xy to the third. And I expanded out to try to simplify. You might be able to take a shortcut there and just subtract exponents. Notice how I didn't have any numbers I could cross out after I expanded everything out. I just was able to cross out a set of x's, leaving me with 8x squared divided by 3y to the third.